I wasn't supposed to film this video today. As a matter of fact, I was not supposed to film this video at all. You see, I already had another video idea in mind, and I was searching for TikTok videos to react to for that video idea. But in the process of searching for those videos, I came across this video right here. And before I even give any context about this video, let me just go ahead and play it, and then I'll explain more afterwards. So you pretty much get the gist of it. This is a bunch of pickup trucks, large pickup trucks at that, driving down American streets. And I didn't count how many trucks there were, but this right here is a typical scene in much of America, especially the American South, such as the area that I grew up in Texas. And it's interesting because to most Americans, this is completely normal. But after living in Europe for 14 months, really after visiting Europe for just a few weeks back in 2023, I quickly realized that this is an anomaly by international standards, having all of these excessively large pickup trucks. And one of the most interesting things I noticed throughout this video, as we skip through, you can see none of these trucks are dirty. So you have people driving these big lift kit trucks, and they're not actually going anywhere with them. They are going to their office jobs. They're not working manual labor. They have no real need for these trucks. Now, why am I so worked up about this? I'm not worked up about the fact that people are driving these trucks, and I'll explain more about why I'm not that worked up about that here in a second. I'm more worked up about the justification for people driving these trucks. That said, let's go ahead and read a few of these comments. So, do people think trucks need to be used for construction like 24/7? Owning a house in general, you need a truck. Let me repeat that just in case you weren't listening. Owning a house in general, you need a truck. Now listen, okay, I don't know what kind of house this person owns right here, Nolan N. I don't know what kind of house he owns, but I know my parents own a house. They don't have a truck. They have never had a truck, and they've never needed a truck. I don't know why he thinks that owning a house makes a truck a necessity. I genuinely don't understand the logic behind that. Now, the next comment. Trucks are the most useful vehicles you can buy. You're always going to need one, whether you think you're going to. You definitely are. Again, I have never needed a truck in my entire life, nor have either of my parents. In fact, I don't know that I know a single person that has ever actually needed a truck. Granted, I don't really know that many people who work manual labor jobs, but I know at least a few of them, in the Netherlands that is. A few of my girlfriend's family members work manual labor jobs, and they don't have trucks, nor do they need trucks. I know that at least one of them has a van, just a regular cargo utility van, whatever you want to call it, and it seems to be plenty sufficient for his needs. And I noticed that that is the case in pretty much every European place I've been to, is that instead of driving pickup trucks, the manual laborers, the contractors, construction workers, etc., the blue-collar workers, they drive vans and not trucks, which, in my opinion, is much more practical because if we go back up here, if you're going to haul things, there's a lot less space in the back of a truck like this than there is in a van. Plain and simple. This is basically a car. It's basically a car that's lifted. Granted, it does have a much greater towing capacity, but a lot of those vans have a very strong towing capacity as well. So again, I'm seeing a lot of vague justification here, a lot of ambiguous justification about you're going to need one, whether you think you're going to or not. Let me know in the comments if you've ever needed a truck. And even if you do need a truck, even if you occasionally need a truck, guess what you can do? You can rent one. I know, it's shocking. Instead of going and spending $80,000 on a brand new truck to drive to your office job and occasionally haul things, you can simply rent a truck for $50 for the day, haul all of your stuff, or better yet, you can even pay someone else to haul it for you. I know, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You see, this person right here said, people do manual labor in all the countries in Europe, but I rarely see these kinds of vehicles. Exactly. I recall seeing exactly one truck like this, one truck that looked like this in the Netherlands. It was a Dodge Ram, and I would often see it parked on the side of this one specific street, and it stood out like a sore thumb. It clearly didn't fit in, literally didn't fit into the parking spot, so it would just be parked halfway up on the sidewalk. And I imagine the neighbors were pretty pissed about that, because I know in certain parts of the Netherlands parking can be a little bit scarce. So that right there is not something you're going to see in a lot of Europe. And you see this person right here saying and, so you go to the replies, and it's really inefficient. It's fine if people choose it, but the problem is it's barely a choice. The US has minimal public transit, so you must drive, and smaller import trucks are illegal. Public transit is a joke in this country. And then this person right here chimes in saying, who would want to ride public transit? It'd be filled with crackheads and homeless, sometimes homeless crackheads. Then this person right here says, okay, then we fix homelessness too. One problem isn't reason to not fix another, you dip. He called this person a dip. I've never heard that insult before. There are cities that need transit where homeless isn't such an issue. Exactly. And you know what really bothers me? It's the fact that this comment right here about no one wanting to ride public transit has more likes than this comment right here. Now, likes aren't everything, but this indicates that there is a major problem, which is that Americans are delusional. Americans are just plain delusional when it comes to the car dependency issue. They know good and damn well they do not need these trucks. They are trying to get these trucks to fit in and one up their neighbors. That is literally it. It's all marketing. And I saw another comment as well that I can't find right now, but basically the comment was something along the lines of, a smart car is a death trap, whereas if you're in a truck, you're much more likely to survive a car crash. Newsflash. The reason why you're thinking about car crashes so frequently is because you're an American who likely doesn't know how to drive. Now look, this is the pot calling the kettle black, because I got my license just like everyone else in America with a 10 to 15 minute driving test where I drove down the street, backed up down the same street, and then parallel parked one time. And I got my license just like that. So I'm probably not a very good driver by European standards either. But the idea that you need to have a truck to survive a vehicular accident makes absolutely no sense, simply because, for starters, people still die in vehicular accidents. It's not always just about the size of the vehicle. A lot of times when you perish in a car crash, it's because you go from a high speed to a low speed. And although having a larger crumple zone helps, inertia is still inertia. That is literally 6th grade science. An object at motion stays at motion until acted upon by another force. So when you crash into something, even if you're in a truck like this, you are still going to get messed up, and you very well might not survive that. So that's not a reasonable justification either. So again, this is what I mean when I say that Americans are delusional. Let's step into the science behind this, okay? So I spent a good portion of 2024 learning about marketing. And one of the most powerful takeaways that I learned about marketing was the 5 stages of awareness, as you can see right here. Now, basically, the 5 stages of awareness are as follows. There's unaware, there's problem aware, there's solution aware, there's product aware, and there's most aware. Most Americans are here. When it comes to the car dependency issue, they are firmly here in the unaware category, meaning that they aren't aware of their desire or their need to solve the problem, or they won't honestly admit it. Again, delusion. When you see those people commenting the stuff that they're commenting, that trucks are the most useful vehicles you can buy, you're always going to need one, whether you think you're not, you're going to. Honestly, trying to read this comment is giving me a stroke, because, I mean, hello, grammar, but that's besides the point. They're simply not aware that it is a problem to begin with. And the big battle with American car dependency, with fighting American car dependency, is not even necessarily the solution at this point. It's about helping people, helping Americans get from here to here. where they know they have a problem to solve but aren't aware of any specific solutions. It's only at that point that they recognize that there is a problem, that, hey, the fact that it seems like every year someone in my town, a teenager at that, is dying in a car crash, or multiple people are dying in car crashes. Maybe that's actually not normal. Maybe we need to do something about that. Maybe the roads are bad because our suburbs can't afford to maintain them. Maybe this is all by design. Once people become aware of that, then they can start thinking of solutions. They can start thinking of solutions to the problems, which ultimately will come in the form of policy. So in this case, you have product aware. Instead of product, it's policy. You become policy aware. When Americans become policy aware, then they can take action to vote politicians into place who will implement said policy. But right now, America has a long way to go, because I would say about 90% of the population is here. They're not even aware of the fact that car dependency is an issue, much less people having trucks like this. They don't understand that people having these kinds of trucks creates not only a lot more wear and tear on the roads, which ironically increases people's taxes because you have to repair the roads, but also it requires this car dependent infrastructure. They have to make the parking lots bigger. They have to make the roads bigger to accommodate these oversized vehicles, which people, once again, are using to drive to their office job.